welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy, and I find myself on a 3-lane highway in Ohio. And I gotta say, it's a nice, smooth ride. I like the fact they got 3 lanes all over the place here. Makes it a lot easier. We stayed over in Columbus last night, and we're heading down to Springfield. Got a bit of a late start this morning. Unfortunately, the hotel does not start breakfast till 6:30. The show opens at 7. It's about a 45-minute drive, 40-minute drive down. I said, you know something or other? A lot of dealers aren't necessarily open right at the immediate opening, plus there'd be a long line of people trying to get in and everything. I'll go a few minutes later, get a little food in my belly, save myself $5 to $7 on breakfast. So can't argue with that. It's going to be 72 today, and you notice I'm wearing long sleeves. Yeah, it's 52 degrees right now outside, and it's going to be 53 at 8 and 54 at 9. I said, nope, don't want to freeze myself. And that's one thing when you do travel, make sure you bring the long sleeves. I had shorts back in the room. I'm wearing long pants. I've made that mistake before where I've traveled to shows and the weather was unseasonably warm or cold. So if possible, pack a little bit extra. I should have brought a little bit of a jacket, then I could have just worn short sleeves. I did bring those here in the car as well. Those are some tips that you learn over time, and I still mess it up a little bit. Really looking forward to the show. About 1,000 dealers, thereabouts. Do have the map right over here because it's so large that you end up getting lost and you end up missing half the show. That's why I do 2 days. Inevitably, day 2, I find dealers that I didn't find day 1. It makes no sense at all. But it's really a weird little setup, the way that it's set up, and I'll show you that later on in the room. I'll show you the map on how it's set up. It's not a grid system, it's a really goofy little system. So it's easy to miss people, and so many things look the same that you're like, wait, was I here before? Was I here before? We got a little bit of money, and this is the first time where I am going into the show expecting 70 to 80% of the stuff I buy is going to go right over to Whatnot. Now, Mrs. Papergoy has a big smile on her face as I say that, because with Whatnot being 75% to 90% sell-through, and if most of the things I'm buying are right for Whatnot, that means the house isn't going to get more cluttered. So that's a very positive thing. However, the prices are not quite as high on Whatnot as they are, so I have to be very careful and selective in my purchasing. So it should be an interesting show. Again, about 1,000 dealers, something like that. This is the Extravaganza in Springfield. Come on down. They have the Extravaganza May and September, which is the ones that bring the dealers in from all kinds of different states. We're going to show you a little bit of video from the show as well with the talk over like we usually do. And we're going to do the haul portions back in the hotel room. I'm down for 2 days. It's actually a 3-day show. And you can actually pay extra money last night. Now, we got in too late to do it, but you can pay like $50 last night to get like a super preview kind of deal. If I lived around here, I probably would do something like that. Had the long 6.5-hour drive in from Rochester yesterday. By the time I came here, I was dragging, so it wasn't gonna happen. You may remember in the past, I've met Don, the auction professor, good friend of the channel, down here a couple of times. He's got a lot of things going on with his new house, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to meet me this time. But he's with us in spirit. So hopefully Don's spirit leads me to some of the good buys that he ends up getting, because he's showing before in haul videos what he's gotten as well. So we'll see you when we get to the show, and we'll see you back at the hotel. All right, so we got a couple of different spots of footage from the show. We got a little here, and we got a little bit coming up in a bit. This kind of here was all from the first day of the show. A lot of tables, just an absolutely beautiful day, as you can see. I want to thank Mrs. Papergoy for being the cinematographer on this. A lot of neat stuff over here. I really haven't seen most of this before because, as you can see, I ran right by. However, go back and get your shoe shine box. That was pretty cool over there. 5 cents for a shine is going to take you quite a while to make any money to buy anything, but that's a whole nother story. But just because of the way I've been doing this for so long, I just run right by a stand like this because I'm looking for paper, I'm looking for magazines, books, things like that. A stand like this doesn't have anything. Now, if you're into this kind of thing, you just go right into it and you run right by the guy that's got all the comic book boxes or all of the other boxes. So it's kind of a trait that you learn after a while because you absolutely have to have it because otherwise you would never get through a show this size. It is one of the larger shows I've been to. I know there's well over 1,000 dealers at it. So there's quite a few, and there's room for a few more. So if you are have a little bit of time in May of 2024, come on by the Extravaganza in Springfield. Yeah, they have shows every month, but the two big ones are May and September. So 4-month difference between them, and you can come out and get lots and lots of neat little buys. This is one of the best weekends weather-wise in a long time. I know in the past I've gone here, and even the parking lot was a complete swamp. People sell live plants. They sell a little bit of everything here at the thing. Some of those are the plants that actually get the water through the leaves. There you go. See, here I am showing my skills on that. What is it called? Botany. Showing my skills on that over there. And we got some rolling pins that Mrs. Papergoy wanted to buy to throw at my head after I kept buying boxes and boxes of books. Thankfully, I was out of money, so she wasn't able to buy any of those. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten one of those upside the noggin, a la 1940s comic strips. Hidden treasures. Lots and lots of great things hidden on throughout there as well. But yeah, and this is just one small part of it. There are a lot of little spurs like this, and then like a whole center area, and then there are about I'm going to say probably two really large buildings, and then 5 or 6, they would be like small horse barn kind of things that also have things in there, including one of them has nothing in there but vintage clothes sellers. And then there are a couple of really large tents in the center as well that have a lot of stuff as well, clothes primarily in that area, which I tend to speed right through. But really interesting show, really great show. I come out to this twice a year. And again, it was absolutely beautiful this year. And they were getting ready, because this was in September, they were getting ready there for Halloween also, as you can see. So he's going to take another look at this handsome man right there shopping. Oh, look, he found some comic books. Good for him. Don't think he bought any of those, by the way, but what are you going to do? So we're going to take a look over here for another 15 seconds or so, and then we're going to head on into what he bought. And oh, there he is. Look at that clown on the bench. Wait, that's not Papergoy. It's a different clown. And then we're going to give you a little more footage a little later on as well. So enjoy. Hit the like button. Like and subscribe. And we are back at the hotel room. First thing I wanted to show you is this. This is the map of the place, and if you take a look at the way it's laid out, that is not a grid pattern. We did not hit the big buildings today, all the various buildings. We did not hit those, that I know for certain. Otherwise, I don't know what we hit and what we didn't, and that's the crazy thing about it. I also did not listen to myself. Got a little sunburn and top of the head. Be smarter than me. So we ended up with a bunch of stuff today. We ended up spending $244 today. First dealer that I went to, I spent $35 with, so he had some good prices. I picked up one item and I asked how much it was, and he gave me a good price on it. And I said, if all your prices are like this, and I made a nice little pile of stuff with him. Some of the highlights for today as to the where, what, why, when, how. Army versus Navy is always very important football game here. A lot of collectors for it, and this is a souvenir menu. It's going to definitely bring some money. Remember, they're always the last regular season college football game of the year as well. This is the kind of thing I'm going to have to make sure that I have up by November, because that's when the last game is. You always want to pick up things like that, though. Up next over here is a catalog, and we always talk about catalogs. I've never seen professional pedal steel guitars, but here we are. Now I have. So this is the kind of thing that people will end up buying as well. You paid $1 for it, something or other like that. One thing I did notice, there were a lot of people charging $2, $3, $4 for things. The dollar things were not as prevalent as I would expect. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if inflation is causing people to raise their prices or what it is. The prices are going up a little bit. That being said, I did pick this up for $1, little black Sambo. Don't know how it was sitting still there in little golden books. Unfortunately, you cannot sell something like this over on eBay, but this will sell on Whatnot. So it's definitely worth picking up something book like that, especially if you sell over on Whatnot. Up next, unfortunately, this has some damage on the back. which is why I was able to get it for $3. But this will be going to Whatnot as well. 1937 is a pretty early circus program, and it's great inside, so even with the damage on the back cover, it should still be able to sell. So I was making sure that I picked that up. Up next, I tell you all the time to pick things like this up. I do not know where the Vogue Terrace is, but isn't that really, really nice? It's got the photo inside. Every town had that. There we go. McKeesport, Pennsylvania is where the photo company is, so it's going to be somewhere around there. So a little bit of research, I'll be able to find out what this is. Something like this, even with the damage in the back, because it came out of a scrapbook, which is typical, you're still going to be able to get $20 to $25 out of something like that. And I paid $1, so that's another neat little buy. This item here, I actually showed to Whatnot, and so this is going to be a little bit of a bolo to you if for some reason you don't shop at my Whatnot auctions, but you definitely should. There's a link over there. Check it out. I'm going to show you real quick why I ended up buying this. Just have to check and see what page. You know, a good broadcasters would have had this all set up, but I did not. Page 96. Card games are fun. Andy Warhol. He did 5 or 6 books in this series, the Best in Children's Book series. It's got Andy Warhol in it. I definitely will be able to sell that. Your chance to own some Warhol art. A gentleman had these. He had 13 or 14 of these. These over here and then these. He wanted $10 a piece on them. Pretty nice shape for what they are, 1920s movie magazines. You don't see these around very often, especially not in higher grade like this over here. He wanted $10 a piece for them. I said, what can you do on the whole pile? And he goes, well, I got into them right. And he counted, and there were, I think, 14 of them. So that works out to 140. I figured he'd say 125, maybe 100. He said, how about 80? I go, yeah, I can do 80. So I ended up picking up the whole pile of these for $80, all 14 of them. They don't sell quite as well as they used to because not as many people know who the people in the movie stars are anymore, but they still do sell. Just a couple of more items over here. I picked up 3 different books from this type series. These are Watchtower books, Jehovah's Witnesses. Always look for these. You can recognize the covers. They always do sell. Picked up this one over there, and a song booklet from it. So those were only $1 a piece. Picked this up, which I will be selling over there. Great Christmas cover over on Whatnot because I've got a Christmas auctions coming on up. So you definitely will want to check something other like that out. Off season, if you can pick them up for $1 like this, you always want to pick up the Christmas stuff. It will always sell. Guess what's coming next year? Christmas. Did pick this up, OHIO, being from Ohio. Gotta love that over there, the big game, 1955. Fortunately, a little bit of damage on the back, but still, for what I paid for it, quite happy to have a program like this. And again, this is an annual game. If I decide to sell it, I definitely could sell it, put it up and it'll sell right around the game time. Pick these up. Do pick these up when you can see them. Your town had things like this as well. This is the sports banquet for high school. And the nice thing about it is, all city, all Franklin County, all south, blah, blah, blah. All it takes, and I did not look at it because, again, the price was right on them. All it takes is for one name to be in there that ended up making it big, which there's a chance that could be. And then all of a sudden you're looking at a really, really nice item. Even if it's not, these are somebody's parents and grandparents in here, so somebody will want to buy it. So this is an eBay type item, and you list it with the photos in there of the players. I picked this up $1, not the greatest of shape, but 1903, New York City. It gives prices and all that on various, herring and all that, but it also gives prices on wine and all that sort of thing. Pre-prohibition is definitely what you want to use is your terminology. So even in this condition, it'll definitely sell because, again, it's pre-prohibition. So you note that. Last couple of things I wanted to mention. I was pleasantly surprised. In fact, Mrs. Papergoy saw the tent first, and we got some free swag. Gotta love free swag. That's right. Whatnot was set up over there, handing out these beautiful bags that you can fill with great stuff. So that was great. I spent a little bit of time talking to them. They're actually out there advertising the site. So that made me, it warmed the cockles of my heart, as it were. And the final thing, if you don't mind bringing the camera forward, Mrs. Papergoy, $75 all of this, plus the bin. He had other stuff. I picked the best of the best out of it, I think. Not even sure exactly what I bought. Cream magazine, Team Set magazine with Mick Jagger on the cover, Yellow Submarine, Team Life, just tons and tons of all rock and roll stuff in here. Entire bin, $75 with the bin. And while I was there, Mrs. Papergoy noticed they had this dolly, and they had a different carrier as well. This dolly they ended up wanting $10 for, which I don't know, I've not priced dollies. However, I think it's well worth $10, and the way it didn't hurt my back made it well worthwhile. So we're going to be carrying this around in the Papermobile from here on, and we're going to be able to have that if I do big buys like this, I can run out and grab it. Definitely was a lifesaver. But yeah, if you're into rock and roll magazines, all that stuff, you're definitely going to want to check out my auctions over on Whatnot, because this stuff's all, Teen magazines and rock and roll, a lot of Beatles covers and all that stuff. They're all going to be showing up over there as well. I paid right on them. I'm going to move them right. So day one is through. The other neat thing is, having talked to Whatnot, they're actually going to be doing a show, live shows, and I'm signed up tomorrow, so it'll have passed by the time you see this video. But that's pretty exciting too, so I got to get to work throwing together a quick little 30-minute auction for Whatnot. Got to get some sleep, because we're off to the show tomorrow, and you'll be seeing another haul video tomorrow night. So thank you, and wish me luck tomorrow. And we got some more footage here from the show. Surprise Frosty, there's not melting. It's a hot, hot day for a snowman, to say the least. Got a lot of neat things there. And I know a lot of people do love those Christmas items like that as well. The shipping, of course, would be the problem for me on that kind of stuff. But they got the sled also there. Boy, that guy's specializing in things that I absolutely would never be able to buy because of the shipping. But then again, I specialize in books and things that can go media mail or very, very small things. Ohio Lottery, there you go. Had to play that day. Should have bought that little Jeep and driven around as well. So a lot of interesting little toys, things like that over there. You got the Pepsi. You've got much, much more stuff over here. That gentleman right there was much, much brighter than Papergoy, because he had a hat on. And Papergoy got absolutely fried by not having a hat on. You got some jerseys. You got the Cleveland Browns represented right over there. We actually are right over by Columbus, so it's pretty much half Cleveland and half Cincinnati, just to let you know. And then, of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes as well. People are selling these things over here, the shoes and boots, and I don't believe those are collectible. I think they're just for people to be using. Ditto with those purses. So it's a little bit of everything at this show. You've got the old, the new, you've got the collectible, you've got the not quite so collectible stuff. You've even got household stuff in there and much, much more. Mrs. Papergoy seems fascinated with one of these here purses. I don't know what's going on. Maybe she's trying to hint to me that next year I got to buy a purse for her cinematography. I'm not really sure. Maybe she likes the shoes. Who even knows? Or else she got distracted. One or the other over there. Getting a little dizzy there. But yeah, you can see there too, more tents all the way out. And then the other people have the stuff out like that. They're without tents over them, which again works out really, really well in a day like this. The problem is sometimes you get into really rainy days, and dealing in paper, that could definitely be a major problem. I don't know how many times I have gone to various shows like this, and it's just, if only the temperature, or if only the rain hadn't come, I would have bought this, and these things got ruined. So unfortunately, that does end up happening at these things as well. But hopefully this is giving you a really good idea of what there is out there, and hopefully you'll be going out there next year as well. A little bit of something for everybody. You've got the, for the alcohol collector right there, for the agricultural collector. You got those old chairs right over there. Just a little bit of everything right there. They don't have old toys, but they have signs that say old toys, so that's almost nearly as good, and so on. And it also was interesting just how these dealers specialize. That one gentleman we just walked by right there had nothing but old chairs primarily, and that is exactly what he specializes in. And it just goes to show that you can make a living doing pretty much anything here in the resale trade. I mean, he's making a living off of that, I'm sure, because he keeps setting up at the various shows with that stuff. And their Papergoy is all happy, saying, we got to go this way, we got to go this way. Somebody had a book, somebody had a book. So we're going to go this way. But, and again, hopefully even just seeing these little bits over here like this kind of gives you an idea of how massive this show is. Really is. And a lot of people had wagons and carts and all that kind of stuff as well. And actually it was pretty funny. They announced over the public address system, they said, if somebody has a cart that's not theirs, because apparently what had happened is somebody or other had grabbed the wrong cart because the carts look so similar, and they had left their cart behind and taken somebody else's cart. Yeah, you got a little bit of wood carving ducks right over there. I think that was E.T. we just saw over there, and much, much more. And again, dealer after dealer. The other problem that you have right here is as you're walking down the midway, you can see how wide it is. Oh, look at that. It was perfect timing right there. And look at that giant ice cream cone. I should buy one of those as well. But you see how wide it is, and you almost need to go up one side and down the other as opposed to jumping back and forth between the two, just because it is so wide. Now, if it's closer together, like a lot of different sales are, you can scan both sides. There's no way you can see one side from the other side. And so either you're going to be zigzagging across, and at times it gets really, really busy. Right now, luckily, it's not that busy. But you'd be getting in people's ways and all that kind of stuff if you did the zigzag. So you almost have to, okay, we're going to go down this way, turn around, and come back up. And another problem with this one is the numbering system is all screwed up. You see right there, you see there's a number there on the ground. Well, the problem is I wasn't able to see what that number is, but it's like 284. And the numbers on this side, yeah, you see it's 5 something on this side. So their numbering system is very, very odd on how it numbers. So if you tell me you're at 240 and I don't happen to have the map on me, I have a hard time finding it because I'm looking 500. So I'm figuring, oh, the next ones are like 400. No, that's not the way it's set up. So I'm sure it made sense to somebody when they set it up back in the day, but I had that problem when I first met Auction Professor out here for the first time. He's telling me he's at such and such a number, 884 or whatever it is, and I'm having a heck of a time finding it. Also have the ATM over there, which was doing a brisk business as well, which is nice. Now, a lot of the vendors will take Venmo, PayPal, things like that, Cash App, any of those things. But should they not take that, there is the ATM as well. And again, hopefully you're getting a nice little view of the various things that are over here. We're kind of in the section where all the Halloween lovers are saying, oh my goodness gracious, I wish I were right there. And Papergoy, meanwhile, sprints through this area just because there really isn't much in the way of books or paper over in this area here. But yet another little spur right over here. And what is that, architectural tile or something like that over there. And then we had Santa Claus there. And much, much more. Yeah, this is a nice little view right over here, just kind of the way all the various areas just come together. And again, I mentioned in the past how difficult it is knowing exactly where you are. So you've got to find a landmark. And this is kind of crazy. One would think that a giant ice cream cone would be a great landmark. It's not, because there are 2 of them. So if you're in the wrong area and you end up not seeing new things because it's like, oh, I've been here before. Well, yeah, that's because it's the wrong ice cream cone. You saw they had a bunch of food options there as well. People selling suitcases and so on. Naughty bits and much, much more. The bourbon chicken, all that. And if you want to eat, you definitely do want to eat fairly early because the lines get pretty long. And there's only one seating area, one tent seating area to eat. So you're going to want to get there early or take the food to go, one or the other. But yeah, definitely because this was the fall show, September, an awful lot of Halloween stuff out there as well. And again, I just ran by most of this stuff because it's not anything that I deal in, but you can see where people would love that kind of stuff, just put it out in their yard and the like. Who am I? Who? And so on. Yep. So a lot of skill, a lot of craftsmanship showing out there as well. We're going to head on over in a minute or so over to see what other items I was able to buy. Spoiler alert, none of these things. Although that would be interesting to bring back home in the back of the car.
And again, a lot of work goes into all of these things as well. So it's just kind of crazy. Very, very cute. Not the kind of thing that I deal in, but very, very cute. And I can appreciate the craftsmanship on those. And I could spend the rest of my life and not even come close to doing that. Yeah, so just again, a lot of neat, interesting things. Definitely do come to the show or go to your local shows as well. They're probably not going to be as big as this. I guess Springfield is, but not a lot of other ones are. But really great show in Ohio. As they say, it is the center of it all. So come on by and buy some clothes. And there that ice cream cone is again. And day 2, and I look even more like a lobster. It's a wonderful thing. It was a really warm day today. A lot of fun out there. That being said, did not find a lot. I wrote it down. I think I spent $83 today, something like that. And the only reason I even spent that much was because the gentleman who had the rock magazines ended up having some more. And sometimes it pays to go back over the same spot a second time. However, in the middle of my day, I had signed up for and did do a show with Whatnot, which was a lot of fun over there. It was a Whatnot sponsored show. I got some new viewers over there as well. And it was kind of interesting to do it, see how other sellers were doing it, and having just all the noise around me, all the distractions of an entire show while I'm trying to do my show. So that was kind of interesting. Had a lot of fun with that. Hopefully you got a chance to check that out. What buys did we get today, you're asking? Not that much. However, some neat things. This is a fairly common book, but it sells all the time, Donald Duck and His Nephews. It is a Walt Disney book. You can end up finding these out there. I will be selling this on Whatnot sometime soon. But do keep your eyes open for that book. It's a fairly common book, as I said, but it is older. It is 1940, so it is an early Donald Duck book. I showed you this only to show you that these souvenir photos, this is Mackinac Island up in Michigan, do show up all the time. So these are great photos to buy when you find them out there. I think I paid $1 for this one over here, and paid all, it'll go for $20, $25. Bought this yesterday and it got stuck in the bottom of the bag. Always do pick these up. This is a Little Golden Book. You can tell it's an early edition because it has the blue spine. It also is a little bit thicker than most of them. And the neat thing about it is it's book 19. The back only goes to book 20. So it's a very, very early print. In fact, it doesn't even say a print inside. It says 1943. Very well maybe a first print. That being said, they did have dust jackets on the early Little Golden books. Almost impossible to find with dust jackets. That being said, this is a good book, and I'll definitely sell that over on Whatnot. Up next, another thing to keep a look for out there. This is Landmarks of New England, but this isn't what you're keeping a look for. You're keeping a look for Lydia Pinkham. She was, I'm going to say quack medicine for lack of a better way to put it. People buy her stuff all the time. You will sell all of the booklets of hers that you find. They are fairly common out there, but there are a lot of different booklets. Another item we picked up here, Sealed. And you always like old sealed magazines. 2010, Led Zeppelin. This is Record Collector Magazine. Not the greatest of titles. That being said, it is a sealed copy. So people are definitely going to want that. Michael Jackson and Uri Geller. Always will sell Michael Jackson stuff. This is 2001. People will want this because they do not have this in their collection. The price is right. They will. A couple of other items over here real quick. Share. That's right. I believe in life after love, or whatever the heck that song is. But this is a program of hers. The only problem with it is really large, as you see, oversized. That being said, Share stuff does sell. You don't find a lot of it out there. This is for the Living Proof Tour, and I paid 50 cents for this, so that is a winner without a doubt. Only 4 more items left. Chicago and Marshall Fields. You always want to buy these things over here. That you'll find these for Woolworths, other places like that as well. They're collectors of the various department stores. I paid $2 for it, I believe. So we'll end up making some money on that over there. 3 last things. This is really interesting. London Prison Farm Varieties in 1940, presented by the Inmates of the London Prison Farm. I cannot imagine there are very many of these out whatsoever. It is a program. Real interesting. I don't know if I want to be named here in the entire cast. Interesting thing here, they only list the last names of the people in the cast as well. Kind of interesting. So, oh, Smith, that could be my relative, who knows? And so on. But really neat. Who's ever going to find one of these out there? Second last thing we have here, this is another very interesting thing. It's from the teens. Convincing Proofs of Superiority, Chicago Roller Skates. And these are all different roller skate. They make copies of all the different letters of different roller skate, the Arcade Music House, and so on, sent into them to tell you how great their product is. Just a really interesting little item here with roller skating. And it's from the teens, cannot be a lot of those. And the last thing I bought, and the reason why I bought this is sometimes you have to be willing to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone, is this. The Bee Gees. Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, Staying Alive, Staying Alive, woo, 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 woo. And if you look in here, it's a 4 CD set. Now you're saying, Papergoy, you don't sell CDs, you don't sell records, why did you buy this? I heard you saying it. Because this cost 50 cents. I don't know very much about music. I do know it is a cutout, unfortunately, but I am certain that a 4 CD boxed set is worth 50 cents. In fact, I think it's worth more than 50 cents because I bought it to make money on. So even though it isn't something other that I normally deal in, the price was absolutely right on it. I'll worry about how to sell it later. You got to buy it when you see it. So it was a fun little trip down here. I want to thank Whatnot. It was a lot of fun. Talked to a few different sellers on there as well. Had a great time doing that. Looked like a lobster, unfortunately. Be leaving early tomorrow. But overall, what did I spend? $325 thereabouts. Had 2 great days down over here. We'll be back in May. So come on to the May Springfield Extravaganza, and you'll see me wandering around. And hopefully I'll be doing a show as well over on Whatnot, because they're going to have signups and all that. So we will see you next video. Hit the like button if you could. Like and subscribe, as people on YouTube say, and we'll see you.